Hello, and welcome to our scoop. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Story 1. My ex's friend convinced her that I was cheating and destroyed our relationship, so I exposed them all to each other. Altered names for privacy. I was with my ex, and for 4 years before our nasty breakup. We were happy for the first 3 years because we were genuine best friends. People openly admitted that the way we could laugh, joke, and play fight filled any house with happiness. However, within the last year or so, there was a serious breakdown in affection and communication. She became very cold, mean, and distant. She stopped letting me go out and was very accusatory. She stopped showing me basic decency, and our relationship began circling the drain during that time. I didn't know till very recently, but her friend Lauren convinced her that I cheat on her when she's away. Anne's friends are Lauren, Jillian, Kira, and Kaysen. Lauren and Kaysen are together. This is important, you see, and travels for work. She's usually gone for up to 3 weeks at a time. She came back from her most recent work trip last Friday, and over breakfast the next day, bluntly confronted me and asked me if I'd had sex with another woman while she was gone. I told her no, which is the truth, but it wasn't good enough and she demanded to see my phone. I said no because of how out of left field this is, and never once had either of us ever needed to go through the other's phone. She took my phone and went through it anyway. She investigated my texts, calls, Snap, Insta, etc. She was cross-referencing my followers and friends with people who liked my Instagram posts. It was absolutely mental to see. She couldn't find what she was looking for and accused me of deleting texts and contacts. She threw my phone back at me and stared off angrily. Her breathing was very heavy and flared, and I could tell she was holding rage towards me. At that moment, I felt very tense and stressed in her presence. I don't know why, but I asked, "Did you do something on your work trip that I should know about?" I could see that she nearly exploded again, but her composure shrunk and her breathing calmed. The silence that followed was probably a better answer if I'm being honest. "You cheated first." She couldn't even look at me while she said that. I instantly knew what that statement meant, and it was like a stab to the heart. When the hell did I ever cheat on you? I won't quote the entire conversation verbatim, but long story short, Lauren filled Anne's head with a bunch of bull about how her long work trips would push me to cheat because it would push any man to cheat. Welp. Turns out Anne cheated on her work trip under the advice of Lauren. Her anger, guilt, and fear built up and made her explode. I finally realized why it felt so futile trying to fix the relationship for the last year. So badly, I just wanted to go back to being who we used to be. But now it was clear. Any trust she had in me was constantly being undermined by someone else that she trusted. It didn't matter. The damage was done and actions can't be reversed. I don't know how to describe it, but I think my emotions just completely shut off at that moment. I detached completely, and whatever beauty I beheld disappeared before my eyes. I told her to leave and never come back. She packed up some of her clothes, screamed at me, and called her mom to come get her. I've spent the last few days just grieving and figuring shit out. I'm the kind of person who copes by avoiding home, so last night I went out by myself hoping to play some pool and get drunk at the bar. I went to a semi-popular lounge at a mall and had some cheap, stiff drinks for their happy hour. I had a good buzz by the time happy hour ended, but I wasn't feeling the best. My buddies didn't show up, so I was sitting there like a sad, smoked. Then a group of people entered in front of where I was facing. I immediately recognized them to be Anne, Jillian, Kira, and Lauren. I switched seats to face away and hung my head. I don't think they saw me because they picked a booth that was behind my left. I won't lie, it hurt seeing Anne dressed up again. She stopped wearing makeup and doing her hair around the same time Lauren got in her ear. They all sit down, and I hear Jillian asking the girls to cover her tab. Anne mentioned that she never has her own money. Anyway, I make like a tree and get the fuck out of there before they notice me. I hope. So here's the thing. When Anne and I were together, it was always something new when she came home from hanging out with her friends. She was either stressed or mad about something, or she had to keep a new secret from somebody from the rest of the friend group. And she told me about it. Every single time. One instance stands out as the last nail in the coffin of whatever good faith I had for her friends. You see, Lauren loves to drink, but she's a lightweight. In 2022 she threw a party and invited the girls over, plus Kaysen. At about 1 or 2 a.m., the drinks are running low and Lauren wants to keep going. She and Kaysen send Anne and Jillian on a beer run, but since they're already drunk, they walk. It took them about 40 minutes there and back, and by the time they got back, they found Lauren passed out in the living room and went out for a smoke while Jillian went to use the washroom. A couple seconds later, Jillian runs outside crying, being chased by Kira and Kaysen. They're begging Jillian not to tell Lauren what she just saw. Yup. She caught them together upstairs. And from what Anne tells me, Jillian was really going to tell Lauren about it, until the cheating pair bribed her with a Louis bag and Lord Huron concert tickets. Jillian must have felt so guilty with her hand-me-down Louis, that she took Lauren to the concert to make herself feel better about it. So whatever, fast forward to now. I headed home and checked my phone. Yup, I'm still in the old group chat. Do you ever wonder how Jillian is always broke yet she got that expensive Louis bag? Yes. Well, Anne told me that Jillian caught Kaysen with Kira upstairs in your house back in July 2022. So Kira gave Jillian her old Louis handbag not to tell, and Kaysen bought the floor tickets to the Lord Huron concert that she took you to. He pressed send. Lauren and Kira saw it immediately and one began typing. I left the group, blocked them, and went on do not disturb. Not my problem. Update. Not unblocking their numbers or Facebook. But you peer pressured me and I checked for their Instagrams. Don't want to check Anne's and didn't check for her on anyone's profiles. Jillian's account is private but her profile is still the same. Can't find Kira's account in my block list so I think she deactivated her account. Kaysen's account is public, but he has no posts and his profile picture has been deleted. Can't find Lauren, Kira, or Jillian in his following or followers. Lauren's profile is public, but she took Kaysen's name and their anniversary date out of her bio. Pictures with Kaysen and Kira are also gone. Can't find Kira or Kaysen on her lists either. She still has Jillian. Again, didn't bother checking for Anne. Probably not gonna update again. And might send her brother to collect the rest of her stuff. He's cool. Might smoke up and procrastinate by playing Xbox with him. Opinion. Honestly, it sounds like Anne lost out on a good partner, all because she wanted to listen to her friends without proof. Hopefully OP finds someone who can fully trust him and treats him well too. Letting her go can only work in OP's favor because having a partner who doesn't trust you can be so incredibly draining and annoying. If the trust isn't there in the relationship, there is nothing there honestly. I hope OP heals and moves on to somebody who fits with them better and is not so easily manipulated. Story 2. Boss from hell gets what she deserves. I, 30s female, have been a people pleaser to a fault my whole life. I have been working in marketing for 10 plus years. Over the years, I've had my fair share of bosses who were good, average, and some who sucked. There is one in particular that stood out as awful. This story is from about 5+ years ago. Pamela, 40s, not her real name, was the VP of marketing and sales for a mid-size retailer. She started at the company a few years after I did. And if rumors were true, she was the 4th pick for the position and was simply hired so the company could appease shareholders. I was a manager under her, and my whole job was to make sure the website and stores had their products merchandised properly, received all their monthly sales materials, managed advertising, set up and managed the department's budget, PM'd all department projects and operations, create reporting to reflect sales, managed presentations/creative briefs for future projects, etc. In short, I did her work and all the administrative grunt work to keep the department afloat. I managed all this because I had access to her email and many times sent emails on her behalf to keep the department functioning. Pamela spent most of her time showing up after 10 a.m., taking business lunches, and planning company parties. I don't even know why we did those, but I planned those too. I consistently questioned why she spent so much of our budget on these events when we didn't have the budget or resources for any of them. Pamela told me to take from future months' budgets to pay for the current month's overspending. So, at the start of every month, I had an original budget and by the end of the month, I had to turn in an edited budget edited under Pamela's direction. That made it look like Pamela's spending was under control. This is important for later. I definitely made mistakes here and there, being in charge of so many tasks, and constantly found myself working 12-hour days split between being in the office and working after my kid went to bed. Weekend work was also done before my family woke up and after they went to bed. During Pamela's first major holiday season, sales were crap. Pamela kept changing her mind on the visuals for the stores, kept bringing on new advertising and PR agencies to bring in sales. All these agencies consisted of her personal friends, and ignored our buying and merchandise team's planned promotions for her own better ones. At this time, I had been dealing with an ongoing infection that turned into sepsis and was hospitalized. The doctors and my husband said it was due to the stress of work and that I needed to take a break. As I recovered, I realized how much I was hurting myself, my family, and even the company I worked for. Eventually, my old habits got to me, and I got on my phone and checked mine and my boss's emails. What I found made my blood boil. First, I got a lovely bouquet of flowers from upper management wishing me well, and I knew that Pamela organized the delivery. She sent me her favorite flowers. I went to her inbox to put the receipt in the correct folder to send to accounting when I got back. At the top of her inbox from the past 3 days were emails clearly not related to business. What I found in her emails was Pamela emailing her personal friends griping on how I can't just shake off sepsis and get back to work. She also complained that she couldn't find any of my notes, spreadsheets, or documents for any of the work she was technically in charge of. They were on our shared drive that was labeled very clearly. Finally, I found an email that she sent to a friend from a previous company asking for advice on how to bring in sales and save her job. In this long thread, this old colleague asked if there was anyone managing most of the work, and of course, Pamela said I was. This colleague explained that clearly, it was my mismanagement that was causing issues and that I could be blamed if sales didn't pull through by the end of the season. Pamela mentioned that I was in the hospital and repeated comments from her other email thread. This person said that she couldn't outright fire me because it could seem like retaliation because I needed to take emergency medical leave. But if Pamela could prove I was stealing from the company or misusing company resources, then she would have grounds to have me fired and use me as a scapegoat. Upon my return, Pamela called me into her office and said she was worried I was taking on too much and wanted to take work off my plate. She announced was taking managing the department budget off my plate. She asked me to only drop off a small stack of invoices to accounting. Additionally, Pamela told me under no circumstances was I allowed to talk to accounting about anything regarding budgets. Also, if I had any concerns about the department or workload, I wasn't allowed to go to HR. I had to discuss it directly with Pamela. Oh. I could see where this was going. Unfortunately for Pamela, I had built a rapport with Lois, a 50s female, not her real name, who was our main accountant. Lois always said that she would do everything in her power to help me should I ask. Knowing this, I grabbed the stack of invoices off Pamela's desk to give to accounting. I also added the email threads I read while I was in the hospital and the current unedited budget that Pamela hadn't touched yet for the month. I also found in my filing cabinet the hard copies of old budgets with Pamela's handwriting on what numbers to change to balance our budget. Finally, I added an email from our first round of budget adjustments where Pamela subtly threatened to put someone else in my job if I couldn't do what she asked. So, I walked and dropped off the invoices to accounting when I bumped into Lois. She brought up invoices, and I sternly looked at her and said Pamela is the only one in our department that Lois is allowed to talk to about our budget and invoices. Lois saw the suspiciously thick file folder on her desk, gave a firm nod, and lovingly kicked me out of her office. Within the week, Pamela was fired. From what I understand, she has been continually job hopping for the past few years. The CEO and HR brought me in to personally apologize for everything I went through and gave me a paid 1-week vacation to take at my discretion. Given other issues with this business, I left after another year. Which brings me to today. I am, once again, a manager for sales and marketing. I have a wonderful boss, Mike, 40s male, who trusts my business decisions and backs me up on practically everything. We are hiring my team for me to solely manage and direct. Today, I looked through the applicants and found Pamela's resume sitting among dozens of others. I stared at her name, wondering how many other people share her name. Upon review, yup, it's her. She definitely fell down the corporate ladder, with the VP of our old company being the highest title she earned. And, to no surprise, She embellished her achievements, claiming the work I managed as her own, and claimed she generated an 87% sales growth during the holiday season at our previous company. As a people pleaser, who firmly believes in giving everyone a chance, it has never been so satisfying to click disqualified. Edit. To those suggesting I interview her to see her reaction, I would have loved to see her face as she walked in. But I felt it would have risked my boss's trust in my decision-making ability. Maybe I'll send a personally written rejection email. Opinion. Honestly, I would blame this all on the company for hiring Pamela in the first place. Once I heard that they hired her as the fourth pick to please the shareholders, I already knew things would go downhill from there. OP deserved better than this, especially when she was out sick. As somebody who does so much for the company and Pamela, she should get more appreciation instead of getting talked about behind her back while she's out sick and healing. Some workplaces can be very good jobs, but the staff and/or management can make it so dreadful to go every day. I'm very glad OP found another job and a good manager that values her and knows how to be a manager. I love a happy ending. Thanks OP. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next latest scoop. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. See you next time.